video, I'm going to be talking about how darkness betrays itself, and this is a message, a very important message to those that might be against me in any ways, or against single-mindedness and egotistical men, kind of like me. Um, and I claim to be a behaving ego, though. But this is a very important message on how it is that we get stuck into a death roll. A death roll is, if let's say that like you didn't see it coming, and you absolutely missed something coming towards you, it was death. And when death hits you and you absolutely didn't see it coming, that moment is what I'm talking about. And most of us think that we certainly carefully try to think of all the things ahead of time that can prevent our death or our destruction or the result of our complete demise. And this video will be sharing information and unique insights into what I've been told from God about what we need to know about if we want to be careful, that even his favored and most elect will get absolutely become victim of the same thing. So understand that he says that his most favored and highest elect are not just also vulnerable, but the most invulnerable, vulnerable. So it's important to know that if God doesn't want to lose someone he loves, or if he doesn't want to lose somebody he wants to be in his elect, he'll want them to know what they might miss being so of the greatest high. Understand that it's hard to think a doctor would overlook something so simple. But like, let's say that like a third grader could point out to a doctor like what you missed is pretty pathetic. You missed, like, you need to see this, and you would miss it. You didn't understand. You're like a doctor that is being corrected by a 3-year-old kid. That it would be insulting. You'd be like, that kid can't teach me anything. Ultimately, that kid can teach you a lot. You can learn a lot from a dummy. Um, so this is about a message from basically God wanting his elect to know that if they are aware that they are his elect and working for him, then that's only some of them, because many of them are not aware at all that they what who they are or what they are doing, and they are also very aware of who they are and what they're doing, in the sense that they're not aware of actually the details, but they know enough to completely not question anything anymore or even care about it. Who am I in this world? Well, anybody that I was in another world, I'm not them, and that includes going back to angels and the gods and goddesses. Um, if let's say that that Satan is using his power to rule with on in any way against God, and ultimately, as I've already told you, it's not. I'm going to tell you that Satan claims to be God. So he's not saying he fights God. He doesn't fight God. He says, I am God. And ultimately, God, Jehovah, is a God up there in that world. Understand the people on earth are in a karmic condition that's not divine, and it's restricted to a lack of divinity in it. So actually, the divine masculine and divine feminine are actually only words that would exist in heaven, because we're all karmics here, and none of us are divine. Truly, even if we have divinity, we're not really divine. Uh, the and of course, less we are, and that'll be very few of us and far and few in between. Um, so I think what he wants me to tell you is, if you're doing what he wants, it'll be because he prompts you to do it. In your feelings, it'll usually be because what you see as an injustice. So what you see as an injustice could be anything that you're looking at and you're seeing it, and then you'll feel that you'll be in disagreement with it, and that it'll be something that you're offended by, something that you're disagreeing with. It could be anybody that pisses you off or says something you don't like or offends you. So it could be literally anything, including anything I'm saying or doing. Um, if you were to, let's say that if God was deciding what to do with me, and he was maybe going to kill me, maybe going to train me to be a Jedi or whatever. I mean, that's just whatever he's going to do. Let's say he's going to, we don't know what he's going to do, but I'm not dead yet. So the reality is that let's say God decides to kill me, so I'm not making this video. I'm already dead months ago. So then that would be something God could have done months ago or years ago or any time. And I would have no say in it. If I'm here, it's because God wants me to be here. And if Satan's not against me, it's because Satan's saying, well, I am God. If God's not against you, I won't be. Well, that's just his opinion for the fact he's down on earth here. And he says that I will use my people. He says I will use those people to do what I want by helping them become offended at words of certain people. So that what Satan says is that certain people that are like him, of like-mindedness, you could call them Satanists, but ultimately Satan would say that Satanists are not even really Satanists, but that's a whole different story. What is important to know here, very important to know, is that the most closest to God or to Satan, if he is God, let's just say he's God if he's right. Well, yeah, he says he has nothing to do with that heaven up in the sky. There's some heaven that Jehovah rules. That's his dad. So he claims that. So he says, I have nothing to do with that. He says, I'm down here in this place and I'm God. And it's me. There's no Jehovah in this place with me right now. It's just me, Satan or the devil. Ultimately, if you want Jehovah, you have to either talk to him from down here and he'll be up there. He won't be down here when you're talking to him. And so it's important to know that Jehovah is the father of all the gods. He's the one that everyone likes, and also the reason why Satan and the devil are considered against him. Well, truly, they say they're not against him. They're more likely to be against each other. Now, let's say that he wants you to, if he wants you to do something for him by helping your feelings feel offended or whatever he wants to bring you towards, he can sway your feelings in any way he wants and make you maybe mad at somebody or something they said or something that offended you, or be angry with someone or not like them. So he can make you not like someone. He can make you be irritated by someone or feel irritation. He could do, like, he's very powerful, like as an entity, something you don't want to overlook, like as just dismiss him off as, like nothing, because he's actually very powerful and like extremely powerful. Like he could make your feelings feel a certain way, and probably any way he wants. He could ultimately make you feel like terrible or great. If he wants to make you feel great, he can make you feel terrible by shutting you down. You'll feel attacked, and ultimately, like, yeah, he's very powerful. And he says that getting caught in the knot is something that happens to a lot of his elect, because they get caught in a death knot, Satan and the devil, because of what they don't see coming, of what they can't see coming. When they can see everything and don't miss almost anything, they still miss something. Like, it's always like a shock when you see it. Like, I can't believe I missed that one little part that, like, I thought for sure I saw it all. Well, that's what makes it so intensely, unbelievably important to communicate this message, is that I guarantee you that the elect of the God of earth that are literally not missing a beat, not missing a thing, they certainly do not think they might be missing something. They've carefully overlooked everything for time after time and many, many years, centuries and centuries after centuries. They're not prone to even consider that they might be missing something. He says that's their problem in their human forms, because the different people that will agree to any degree to do Satan's work or the devil's work will be people that are evil and that are agreeing to be evil or wrong or immoral for any degree that he is. And ultimately, he says he's as bad as you can imagine in some cases, because he's not putting, there's no stops when it comes to what he could do bad. But the thing is that when you actually see that it's actually important to mention that he's not here to just do bad things. There's a million good things he could do that you'd never see or you would never know. And ultimately, the fact he could be good at all times, anytime he wants, and the fact that he could be bad anytime he wants, at any moment. Well, the idea is we all assume that Satan or the devil are just bad entities that are just always bad, assumed to always be in some disposition of badness, which is just not true. because the devil actually likes to joke around uh, a little bit, and the devil could be sarcastic and ultimately like a joke. Like, yeah, he could kid around with you when he's killing you, or kid around with you when he's actually playing with you, like kidding around. So ultimately, it's scary because you wouldn't laugh at him, definitely not. But Satan is like ultimately a different personality that will be more serious and controlled, and he won't laugh quickly. And he doesn't laugh much. He's not a jokester, kind of like the devil is. So ultimately, these two different personals, very different personalities. Getting caught in the death knot is when you are following one of them, the devil or Satan, who they are gods of this world. They're very powerful entities. Understand they're powerful enough to claim that they're gods. So they've got that power backed up behind it, and ultimately, so the fact they are claiming, no one's stepping in to say that. Yeah, Jehovah doesn't come down and say my two sons are not fighting today; they're getting along. Well, that's great. But ultimately, Jehovah abandoned this world, left it to them to fight over. They're fighting over it right now with Jesus, but they're not fighting with each other. So the devil and Satan are not fighting each other; they're fighting Jesus, and ultimately, they're not even fighting Jesus. They're pretty much just not. Any disagreement they have is with him or his people. So, but they would say it's actually the people that have a disagreement with them. It's not their disagreement with the people. It's so they're claiming to be righteous and not wrong, and I could tend to support that fact. Now the thing is that if you're going to follow the devil or Satan and you don't even know what you're doing for an advantage, well, the advantage could be an emotional advantage, an emotional asset, or a mental asset, and the mental asset can be given to you as quickly as a thought could be given to you, or as quickly as you could hear a sentence being talked about in a sentence. So, like the rewards you can get from Satan or the devil are literally quick to be had instantly, in momentary at any time, because he can make you feel suddenly much better from nowhere. Or, yeah, you get rewards emotionally from him, or you get attacked in pains, depending on what he wants to do. But the thing is if you agree to follow him, then you probably won't even know. And it's important to know that if you don't even know who you're really following, the God of this world is him and the devil, they're saying. So if you were of the idea that you're following God, but then you would say that you're not going to follow the devil or Satan, there's a huge problem there because although that's a technicality that doesn't really need to be worried about too much, understand the fact you won't follow the devil or Satan, but you will follow the God of this world. Well, if you agree to follow the God of this world and they are the gods of this world, well then how would that really work out in the actual obedience to it? Well, it wouldn't, because you couldn't find yourself following this God. The death knot that you get stuck in is when you don't see coming something that you did everything they asked, and you did everything that they told you to do, and they rewarded you a lot and give you something, and then for doing it you get paid well and commendated, and yeah, they're like, yeah, you're doing well, you're my elect, and ultimately you're like, yeah, and they're not going to kill me because you trust them and they trust you, right? But here's the sad part: they're saying that we do betray our most high elect sometimes. It goes down because of what they don't see coming. And if we can't let them understand, so they have the information of what they need to see that they don't see coming, is they already think they've looked at everything, and well, they have. Thing is, there's something they're missing. See, if you were to question the intention of Satan or the devil's idea of what they're doing in this world, like who they're bringing up or tearing down, like what is Satan doing with me? Is he attacking me and destroying me because I'm against him, or is he like being my friend and teacher and helping me, or is he just giving me some test after test to see if I actually pass these tests and Jehovah's really doing it? Well, I mean, ultimately, whatever reason I have with Satan or the devil as a relationship with, oh, I'm conscious of it. So know that I know the difference between those two, and I also know the difference between Jehovah the Father and those two. They're all the same family. So it's a family affair when I'm praising Jehovah, to know that who his two sons are. And ultimately, they're brothers, but they're also the same entity, because it's kind of like a family is a family. A family entity is existing, and it includes more than one. The point here is, I'm trying to stick on point. The point is what you need to be aware of is what you're overlooking. And what it is that if Satan's rewarding you and giving you all these emotional rewards to do damage, well, then understand, how do you know if you're following Satan or the God of this world? Well, figure if you're doing anything that's immoral or even considered to be in question regarding someone else, like attack, like doing anything against somebody's, hurting their reputation, maybe messing with them kind of behind their back, like to make them angry, or yeah, to just give them hell, or whatever you're doing, like it's against something. So ultimately, if you're doing anything against anybody, well, Satan and the devil will pay you well. And since they are gods of this world, if you ask me, well, then you'll already have an idea of that. So if you actually fall, kind of tend to follow with them, kind of knowing that already, well, those two powerful entities, the two most powerful in the whole world. So I'm not going to question them. Ultimately, I'll do what they want. Well, they like that, and they'll reward you constantly with great feelings and self confidence and all that. But or all this, but understand what will cause the backstabbing for them to betray you, which they're saying they don't betray anyone. They don't want to betray anyone. Ultimately, if there's a betrayal that takes place, if let's say that the devil has been attacking me for the last year and just decided to let me live because he likes me. He decided he liked me after a whole year of attacking me and killing me. Maybe he decided he didn't want me dead, or there was something I said useful that helped him once. So ultimately, let's say that the devil and Satan change their mind and say, well, yeah, we were going to kill you, but ultimately we harassed you for a bunch of time and attacked you and yeah, threatened you and scared you. And then like, yeah, then we thought like, wow, this guy could be useful. Yeah, whatever, you became useful to us at some point. We decided not to finish you off. Ultimately, when they decide not to finish me off, or this could be anybody, and it doesn't just include me exclusively or anyone else. It's actually applies to almost all the time what's going on all over the world and everyone. They're killing people and they're also giving them chances and forgiving them. And ultimately, tidal waves don't beg forgiveness. They come show up and they don't care what happens. And a tidal wave comes at you and it's like Satan or the devil coming at you and it don't care. It won't beg for forgiveness or want forgiveness or ask for forgiveness. So how do you get betrayed so badly? And so how could such a betrayal be so bad? Well, like I said, Satan and the devil won't betray you. They certainly don't want to betray you. What they're going to say is, if that's a fact that we betray you, it's because you followed us to a certain degree and we gave you a bunch of rewards and said you're great for following us, doing whatever malicious deed we wanted. And ultimately, we needed to get that malicious deed done, which meant that to us, you didn't do anything evil because whatever we did, we needed to get it done. So if it was malicious, it had to be. Ultimately, whatever you did for them that was considered bad, they're going to appreciate you for actually and reward you for it. But if let's say that they decide to let someone live instead of die, so let's say it's someone you're helping punish. So you're helping Satan and the devil punish somebody because yeah, they're asking you to, and they're rewarding you with competence and leadership and rewards and whatever promotions and everything. Yeah. So you already are aware of that. Like you're getting some good rewards. Well, if now let's say that the devil or Satan says, okay, now I kind of like that guy on a Tuesday, and let's not finish him off and kill him. Let's let him live. Oh, are you sure about that? Well, why not? Yeah, because he's doing everything we want, and he's not even. Yeah, why kill the guy if he's completely sincere about trying to be open towards everything and be okay with it? Like he's not. He doesn't deserve to die. So let's say that they say that, right? So now they have not discussed it with you. So during the time see when there's a cursing on somebody or a judgment that's eternal on somebody, it's forever and it never comes off it. So basically, as soon as Satan decides he wants to kill somebody, that's the judgment that's cast out to the entire spawn of everything. So they all know what he wants. But understand, if he changes his mind and suddenly doesn't want someone to die that's been already being killed and murdered off for months or years slowly, well, ultimately it's more a collective than probably an individual, but both. And that what that means is that if Satan and the devil changed his mind and decided to let someone live for some reason, they're not going to be able to notify you if you don't even know that you've been following them, or and yet you didn't even know that whatever you were doing that was bold and malicious, or maybe bold and maybe you liked it, whatever it was a disfavor to someone else, or you're punishing someone else because they deserved it, or whatever it was. Um, well, that was what they wanted you to do. But when they decide to let them live and turn this around, they don't want them dying anymore. It might be that you didn't get that message, and so they didn't come to you and say like, "Hey, can you hear me? This is Satan and the devil, and we're going to change our mind about that woman. We don't want to kill her, so we're going to let that woman live, actually, and we're going to let her live. In fact, we like her a little bit now after torturing her for a year or two and getting to know her. And it's not a joke. In other words, they'd say that, yeah, we harassed her and tortured the hell out of her, enslaved her, and beat her up like you wouldn't believe. But after a year and a half of it, she's actually not deserving death. She's deserving, well, maybe we'll give her something now. Ultimately, she has to recognize us, and she refuses to recognize us. So we're not going to let her live if she wants to tell us we're not gods of this world. We certainly are. So ultimately, that'll be a good reason to be beaten up on somebody like her, especially if they want her to live, and they're going to tell you that. then understand you better get the message that now they want her to live. So that is up to you to stop attacking her or just doing whatever in support you've been doing and getting rewarded for. It's up for you to now stop it. But see, your own ego will be involved, and it's the mechanism, also the trouble. The ego itself is going to be an entity within you, which comes from Satan and the devil. It's also that you could have your own copy of your ego, which comes from them. It's an egotistical, selfish kind of masculinity, and it can be feminine. But ultimately, your own ego and you being in you may be a sealed off copy. So it's not being updated in real time. The personality is from an old personality from maybe a long time ago. You have an ego in you, and it is playing that idea that it's doing the work of God or the devil or Satan, and it knows what they want, and it's getting rewarded, and it's not stupid. So ultimately, because they can't update your ego in real time, especially if you won't let them in. So especially this will go for people that subconsciously might follow them without knowing it, but then would never do it if they did know it. So the fact that they don't know it is why they follow them, and then the fact that they've ever learned, they would say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know I was following like bad entities. I thought they were whatever." So ultimately, this is they're really the ones that get screwed and backstabbed because they're saying, "Look, if we can't tell you that when we want the plan to shift, that the intention has already been forever instilled into the reality, you're going to have to be able to get the message that it'll be that we will give her the ability to destroy us." So what Satan and the devil would say is, we're going to give her the one we've been killing almost and taking her out. We're going to, yeah, she's like been tortured by us for all this time and a prisoner of ours, enslaved, and we've been beating on her, harassing her, and giving her every hell. Understand that what we're going to do now is we're going to take her aside and we're going to tell her that she needs to kill us if she's going to win now, and that means destroy every part of us. So we have to die completely. And she'll be shocked to hear that because she'll be like, wait a minute, were you playing with me again? Like, no, we're going to help you. We need you to destroy us, utterly kill us, so that you can win. And now, if Satan and the devil were telling you this, well, certainly you're going to say, like, that, well, you're obviously screwing with me because that's not, you're not going to teach me how to kill you or show me how to beat you, right? No, just a part of our collective that won't listen to us. Just a part of our collective that won't listen to us. We're going to teach you how to beat it up, and we're going to let it happen. So we're going to utterly betray a part of our own collective, utterly backstab the hell out of them by telling you how to beat them. And we're the ones that ask them to beat you. And they're also helping us beat you in cooperation with serving us. So doing everything we wanted. So we actually like them. So we're gonna actually show you how to betray and backstab our favorite people that have really been obedient to us. And understand that the truth is they don't want to backstab a part of their collective that can't get the message, that didn't get the true message, that's still carrying out an old order, that's destroy her, torture her. And ultimately, the new order is don't torture her and don't destroy her, but she's not even an enemy anymore. Well, then it's not best to question, or our ego to question Satan or the devil's decision. So our own ego would have a lot of trouble being from a dark side. It would have a lot of trouble coming to any terms if it wasn't literally in real contact with Satan or the devil in real time. It would have its own idea that it already knows what they would want, and it does in a certain sense, or at least what they did want years ago or months ago. And so ultimately, it'll come to a conclusion in and of itself without an update and without actual contact with either one of the entities that are real and real time living entities. So it's really important to know that you wouldn't want to go look at an old set of orders that you can find in your drawer about something that would indicate you could do something that could get you utterly destroyed if you didn't try to contact the entity in real time. And I'm saying that what you need to do is be aware of this. That well, of course, you have to contact the devil and Satan in real time entities and say, "Excuse me, hello, are you actually here now?" "Yes, I'm here actually now." "Okay, so you're actually live here." "Yes, Satan and the devil are here now, live." "Okay, now, okay, good. Tell us what we got to know." If I decide to let someone live and help them, anyone in my collective that has been obedient to me and utterly obedient to me and I've been rewarding will get backstabbed, and I'll be the first to do it if they don't undo whatever I tell them to undo, especially when they don't like it, because they've been enjoying the punishment as well as we have, and we've all been punishing her or him. But if we're going to decide to change it, it's a good thing you talk to me in real time, because your ego might tell you a different story. Like, wait a minute, we used to hate them. What's the difference? They still are bad. So what I'm saying is the devil and Satan say, that they have to get that message out to the part of their collective which won't get the message or won't agree with it. And that's a lot of people that want to be evil, that are kind of following Satan or the devil, and they don't realize that they've already kind of got their orders and they're just carrying them out over a period of time. And so that's exactly what Satan and the devil wanted them to do: carry them out, take time over a period of time. But unless the plan changes, but we're not going to make it our responsibility to contact you, are we? Like, because you're going to keep doing it, and understand what happens is how they ultimately move on, how they move on. The collective that doesn't in real time capitulate to whatever new orders are given. So let's say that the living entities give new orders in the collective, but in real time. Well, then anyone that couldn't hear those orders are now separated as a part of the collective that didn't get the order for some reason. And whatever they're doing after that moment is they're either carrying out orders that are no longer their orders, they're actually counter orders that are opposite, which means that they're now damaging everything when they were being obedient on a Tuesday and doing everything that Satan and the devil appreciate them for and get a reward for. On a Wednesday morning, it'll be suddenly that they're doing everything wrong and should die. And even the devil and Satan will kill them. Because it'll be like, if you didn't get my message in real time, it's crucial if you want to survive and not get backstabbed, I'll cut that part of the collective off. Meaning the part that didn't get the message, we have to destroy it. And so ultimately what they'll do is give the message to the friendly that they're letting live. They'll say, well, yeah, you're really fighting us in our collective part that we've established against you. We built a collective of attackers on you. So you've been living 6 months or a year, literally being attacked by Satan and the devil and their little collective that they brought to you to attack you, to help them attack. So who were your attackers? They were basically Satan and the devil attacking you with a collective of people that could have numbered 100 or 200 or 500 or who knows. But it could have been 20. Certainly it was of some size and significant and specific. Those people will get killed off and betrayed because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do and have been getting rewarded up until the moment they'll get punished for what they were. It'll just all go bad on, like suddenly their God will come and kill them and ultimately not tell them anything. And it will just be because what they're going to do is more like allow the collective to be beat, or they'll destroy it so that so it's not able to go against their will or wishes. And so that's something that the elect of God didn't see. Certainly that if God changes his mind and gives a set of orders that are very opposite to who we're attacking. Well, if we're attacking somebody and that's our orders, well, if he gives the order, stop attacking them and now support them as allies, well, you wouldn't believe that anyways. The ego wouldn't believe it. Certainly that's a rare instance, but if you were actually told that by God, you'd have to kind of know that you were, because how are you going to get that but in a feeling? Like, what is God really telling me? Support your enemies now. In fact, I want you to know that your enemies can be your allies, and I'm giving you an order that your enemies are your allies now, and they are maybe your friends to come if they are. But ultimately, whatever your idea of what you're doing now, ordered to attack them, well, they're not going to be tomorrow morning enemies anymore, ever. Which means that if you're still attacking them tomorrow morning, you're the enemy, and we'll destroy you. And you've done nothing wrong but be obedient. So that the truth of the message is ultimately yes. I think that's it. Or should I say, I think this is it. Both of us want to say that. There are a lot of reasons why the conflicts we're having in this place. Okay, hang on a second. All right. Yeah. Okay. No, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.